Hello YouTube, hello, and we're back with another speed lab. This time, to be fair, I think this might be one of the least annoying characters. To be honest, playing against Claudio can be annoying as well, but compared to my other speed labs, he might be the least annoying one. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about Claudio. So Claudio, this character was very strong before the latest patch because of one move, and they did nerf it. 4432 is what I'm talking about. The move is still usable in my opinion, but it's not as worth it. Like, the reward is not as high, but it's still good. So yeah, let's talk about this character, Claudio. And as I will always say, I'm only going to be talking about Season 2 stuff, so Season 1 stuff, not as much. So yeah, the few things I just want to get over with, because there's not much to talk about with them, is something like, for example, down back 3. I think they made this faster, if I remember correctly. I don't exactly remember by how many frames, but yeah, down back 3 is faster now. So you have to be a little bit careful on the neutral. You can't react to it as easily. It was more easily reactable, maybe it was like 3 frames slower. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, down back 3, one of the moves that got changed in Season 2. And you can't really do much about this specifically, and it's only gonna be used in like high crush situations. Not as much as a low poke, especially against with the good Claudio players, because it's minus 15, right? Claudio can only TP it, but yeah, minus 15. It's also steppable to one side, I think not the other one, both sides. Okay, so yeah, down back 3 just have to be aware that this exists. Sometimes they will use it, but not that much. It's launch punishable low, even though it is faster, and it's plus 3. So this I just wanted to get over with. This and the second thing, back 3. So back 3 is a very common poke, right? This is one of the best pokes that Claudio has. Back 3 is amazing move. But what I want to talk about is in Season 2, they changed the follow-up, this, to minus 10. So as I said, this is not that much to talk about, I just want to, mention it. That this is minus 10 now, so before it was minus 12, and whenever you did block it, you could back 1-2, or I don't know, back 1+2, for example, right? 12 frame punch. But now it's only minus 10, you can only get jabs off of this. So you have to be ready for this. You have to be ready, and you have to basically notice that Claudio players might do this a little bit more frequently because of the less frames. But the counter got changed, and in my opinion, it might be better or worse, I don't know. In my opinion, it's better, because it used to knock down, and it used to give like a guaranteed hit. But now it gives a guaranteed heat engager. So I don't know if I can demonstrate it. Okay, let's hope that works. It did not work. But yeah, Claudio basically gets a guaranteed 3-2 there. And it will wall slide at the wall, and I think it's pretty damn good. It is pretty good. So it's a little bit debatable if it's good or not. If you ask me, it's a little bit better than getting a knockdown, but some people might say the knockdown is better. Whatever, right? It's up to you. But yeah, back 3 for the defender, with the important part is that it's minus 10, and you have to jab punish it now. Okay, that's about back 3. Now let's talk about one of the most problematic moves. So the two of the most problematic moves Claudio has right now anyway is 4443, even though it got nerfed. So let's just talk about this a little bit. I think it's still pretty good. It won't be used as much, like it won't be spammed, but I think it's still gonna be good to use because it forces you into a decision. The actual decision making you do on 4432 didn't change much as a defender. You still have to either choose to, let's say, mash or sidestep the last hit, the charge up. So let me just showcase that, right? Do a charge up. So if you want to avoid this charge up and not get guard broken, you have two options. Either mash, that's one option, right? Like press a button, doesn't matter what you press, you can even jab as scouts, so jab does not whiff, so jabs work. That's one, and two is sidestep to the right. I would recommend sidestep to the right. I'm not too sure if left works. Yeah, it works as well. But I would recommend going to the right. I think it's a little bit more consistent. So yeah, this is very important to know. If you want to avoid the charge up, you have to either sidestep or press a button, right? Two things. But now this is a mix-up. The mix-up is exactly the same, didn't change much when it comes to, as I said, when it comes to the defending side. But what did change is that it's a little bit worth it for us to try to sidestep or mash. I'll explain that later. So if you do try to do that, a charge up version, it's like a mini charge up, will hit you. Let's say I try to sidestep here, right? This will hit you. So this is a semi-charge, basically, right? And if you try to sidestep or press a button, you will get hit. It's a little bit better to sidestep than press a button, because at least you'll get damage a little bit less, right? Counter hit, I think it's 4 more damage. So it's a little bit better to sidestep, as long as there's not a wall to that side, right? So that's good to know, but the big thing that changed is that this doesn't wall splat anymore. That's one thing, right? This used to wall splat. So this is a normal hit move. Like, it is a normal hit move and they can confirm it. Right now I just have him set to charge up automatically, but they can confirm it and do it. Something like this, right? And used to wall splat. So this used to wall splat, so it doesn't wall splat anymore. So at the wall, it's not as risky for you to try to do something. Let's say to try to sidestep or try to mash. Because before the latest patch, this used to wall splat you, and this used to deal a lot of damage. No matter what decision you chose, let's say you tried sidestep or not, if you were wrong, you were always getting wall splatted, no matter what. So yeah, decision making was very, very harsh there for us, but now it's a little bit worth it for us to do something like a down forward 2 in between and basically mash, right, or sidestep, because don't wall splat us as much, but it will still knock you down into another mix-up. Obviously, most Claudio players, after they knock you down, will do a sidestep and mix you up with a 4, right, sidestep 4. And maybe back 1 or something else, right, doesn't matter. So yeah, very, very important to realize that it's a little bit more worth it for you to try to avoid the charge up, but the decision making is still the same. The other thing that's also very, very important about this is that they also changed the block frames. So this used to be, I think, +1 if I remember correctly. When you blocked the non-charge up version of forward forward 3, I'm recording again. This used to be plus, so you did not have a lot of options to, let's say, press. So even if you press the jab here, the Claudio's jab would beat you. So you had to be very, very careful when it came to blocking this. So now, even if you block it, it's -9, so it will be your turn no matter what, and you'll be able to either retaliate, either move around. The Claudio player will feel way more uncomfortable mashing there, basically. You'll still might expect them to do a power crush or something like that, right? You know, classic -9 to power crush mind game, but yeah, very important to realize that it's -9 now, it's not +1 anymore, and you can play around the move more. Right? It's not useless, but you have a little bit more freedom to choose, like a decision-making freedom, I guess. So, forward forward 3, I think that's about it for that. Now let's talk about the up forward 2, which is I think the one of the strongest moves he has right now. So this move is very, very good. First, let me talk about the obvious weakness this has, right? So this is an orbital that has a lot of range, 21 frame orbital, very, very good range, because you can't backdash away from it usually, right? It's very hard to backdash away from this. So it has very, very good range. But the biggest weakness this move has, obviously, is that you can very easily step. You can move it a little bit, and it will get stepped, both directions, more or less, right? I can't electric. Why can't I electric? But yeah, that's the biggest weakness this move has. But the strength is it's very good basically when it gets blocked. That's like the biggest strength. Obviously, if you get hit, it is a heat engager, right? Goes in the heat, and then I have to deal with Claudio in heat. And in heat, this will also launch you. So yeah, it's a launcher in heat. You have to be very careful. But now let's talk about the important part, which is the on-block situation. So on-block, Claudio players have a lot of options. And by a lot, I mean a lot. Because Claudio players can choose to either go full crouch, let's say do something like this, right? Do a while standing 4, that's a full crouch move. Or not go into full crouch and do an instant move like back 3, like a standing move. So they have both full crouch as options or standing moves as options, right? They can do both. They don't need to like worry about anything like they're only standing or they're only full crouch. So they can do both. Unlike you. So you on the defending side are always full crouch. Obviously we can't choose to stand up. So you are full crouch and you have to do a while standing move. So the fastest thing you can do here is a down jab. That's the fastest thing you can do, 10 frame down jab. And maybe a while standing 4. Right? Down jab or while standing 4 usually are going to be your tools. But now let's talk about Claudio's options. So one option out of everything here beats anything that you will do. Literally anything, you cannot do anything about this. And I wish I could give you an option for this, but there is none. So there is one option, which I will show you, but usually it's not worth to do that much. So yeah, that is while standing 4 after it. So if a Claudio player does this sequence, up forward 2 into while standing 4, there is nothing that you can do. Absolutely nothing. The only thing you can do here is a power crush. But since you are in full crouch, you cannot do your standard power crush, right? You cannot do that. So what you have to do is a heat burst. So for all characters, this is the only thing that you can do, and it's not even worth it sometimes. So sometimes it's not worth it because you're going to be using up your heat maybe even early. And you don't want to use up your heat early. Usually in games you want to save this kind of stuff. Maybe in the middle of the match it's going to be fine to use. Sometimes you're going to get out of pressure, maybe start pressure back. But this is the only thing that you can do. Nothing else, this is the only thing. Unless you play Nina or Anna. So Nina and Anna both have full crouch power crushes. I'm not too sure how they interact with this. Like if Claudio will block them or not. But they can power crush it, basically. But every other character has to heat burst. So this is very, very important to realize that this move, let me just showcase this. You can't sidestep it with Kazuya anyway. Right? I'm showcasing it as a perspective of a Kazuya player. He cannot backdash it. You can't do anything about this. The only thing you can do is backdash it on very far ranges, something like this. But on normally close ranges, you can't do anything about it. On a little bit further ranges, you can even sidestep it. Right? So if anything, you have the awareness of the range you block this, you can either backdash or sidestep. Usually backdash is recommended. But I think the Claudio player can do the same and just not do a wall stand 4. So you have to be careful, basically, right? You have to be very, very careful with this. Nice thing for Palm. So, yeah, wall stand 4 is something that you can't do anything about. If the Claudio player likes to do this, you just have to block it and, you know, take the frames, basically. But since this move exists, so why is this so important? Since this exists, usually you're gonna be standing there and not moving, right? You're not even gonna press anything because you can't press anything other than the power crush here. And this is important for Claudio because the existence of this makes this a tool that will basically stop you from doing anything. You can't sidestep, right? Even though it's +4, you still can't sidestep here. You can't backdash, but yeah, the Mustang 4 will still clip you on block. And yeah, you can't do anything, basically, right? Unless you press a heat burst, which usually, as I said, is not worth it. So that basically means that the Claudio player can maybe do this twice, because you're just standing there, right? Maybe even while running 2, because you're not sidestepping, or ducking, right? This kind of sequences. Like, up forward 2 becomes a very good pressure tool just because something like this exists. Obviously, this is not the only thing that the Claudio clan can do. Claudio players also like doing 2-1 here, for example, right? Also like doing something like back 3, something like down forward 3, like a lot of options here, right? And they cover different sidestep directions, so you have to be aware of that as well. But as I said, the existence of this basically makes you stop moving. Like you just can't move. And you can't even sidestep block it, right? It's too fast, so you are gonna get hit. You don't want to get hit. So, yeah. Unless they really insist on playing the mind game of, like, let's say they like doing 2-1s. Or they like doing like back 3s and down forward 3s. They play the mind game direction instead of just picking this. Then you can play the mind game with them and try to sidestep one or the other direction, just so, you know, maybe you're right and you get a launch, right? Maybe an electric. But other than that, usually it's not worth to do anything, especially if they like doing the wall stand 4, as I said, right? If they like doing this, usually just chill. And if you just chill, the Claudio player will not chill. That's second aid, basically, right? If the other player makes you chill, they're not chill. It's exactly the same with us as well, right? If you play a character and they're chilling, you're not chilling. You're going in being aggressive, like an 8. So, yeah, very, very important. Let me just mention this as well. I think this is pretty important. This is not Season 2, but 2-1 I did mention as one of the options, right? So 2-1 as a move is very, very good. Because after this, one thing is that it will track you to this direction, which is side step left. You can step to the right. Right, this is possible. You can step it. You can also punish it. But think about 2-1. The important part about this move is that it's a mind game, right? It is -6, so the frames are not bad at all. -6 is pretty damn good for a high mid. And high mid, this also has a follow-up. I think it's 1+2, right? 1+2, yeah. So this follow-up can be delayed by a lot. You see this follow-up, right? Being delayed by as max as possible. There we go, right? Basically. So what this means that every time you block 2-1, you might expect the third hit. So if you expect the third hit, a Claudio player will be able to do 2-1 into, let's say, a sidestep 4 mix-up. 2-1 or a low. A 2-1 down back 4, let's say, right? Down 2-1 down back 4-3. So 2-1 is a mind game can work really, really well for Claudio players, because if you're expecting the last hit all the time and you're always respecting it, they will pressure you for that, right? Like, just imagine a Claudio player doing 2-1 repeatedly and you're always respecting it, right? Because of the third hit. So the thing about this is that it's always going to be good to sometimes mash into it, sometimes, especially if they like playing this mind game and they press after it, right? It's also good to do like sidestep blocks. I prefer to do like something like this, for example, a sidestep block, but it will also catch you if they don't delay too much. So you're basically stuck there and not being able to do much about it. The only way you can sidestep block that is if they max delay it, right? Delay it as much as possible, like something like this. Maybe somewhat it's possible, something like that. But usually you'll get hit by this. So this is one of those mind games when you're stuck in one place if you respect it, and you have to press a button if you don't respect it, more or less, right? You can also backdash and just, you know, let the Claudio player pressure you, because it's not that big of a deal. The Claudio will not, you know, doesn't have a down forward 1-2 of Nina that will pressure you to infinity. It doesn't have Anna's mix-ups or down forward 1-2. Doesn't have a, like, instant hell sweep. Like, he can still pressure you, especially with wall running 2s. That's the one thing you have to be very, very afraid of, because wall running 2s will push you to the wall, and you do not want to be at the wall against Claudio. But yeah, 2-1, I just want to mention this. If you do correctly read it, obviously you punish it, right? It's -13, you punish it. But do not let the Claudio player use it too much, basically is what I'm saying. So that's about 2-1, back to 3, up 2, and forward 3. I didn't mention that. Down back 3 I also mentioned. Okay, am I forgetting anything? I doubt I'm forgetting anything. On the defensive side as well. Like, a few things I can also mention is back 3. I think I already mentioned, right, that it's not knockdown anymore. It does knockdown, it's +14 heat engager, but yeah, I think that's it, more or less. Because Season 2, even though forward 3 was the biggest change, this did get nerfed. I already mentioned it, I mentioned this. But yeah, I think that's it. Claudio always had like very, very little move list, so he didn't really have that many changes. But yeah, YouTube, thanks for watching. Maybe I did forget something, but it's fine. It can happen, right? Whatever. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching, YouTube, and I'll see everyone next time.